My husband's late nights at the office weren't work at all. He was busy with her and now, the shocking truth. Hello everyone. My name is Patricia and I am 32 years old. My soon-to-be ex-husband, Raymond, is 35. We were together for 7 years and married for 5. I honestly thought we had it all. The house, the careers, the friends, and what I believed was a deep, loving partnership. We met at a coffee shop. It sounds so cliché, I know, but it was genuine. I spilled my latte all over myself and he, being the gentleman he seemed to be, rushed over with napkins and a kind smile. We started talking and the conversation just flowed. He was funny, intelligent, and had this way of making me feel completely at ease. We exchanged numbers, went on a date the following week, and the rest, as they say, is history. Or at least that's what I thought history was going to be. A happy, long history together. Raymond worked as a project manager for a tech company downtown. It was a decent job, paid well, and he seemed to enjoy it most of the time. I worked as a graphic designer, mostly freelance, which gave me flexibility and the ability to work from home. This arrangement worked well for us. I could manage the house, our dog Buster, and still pursue my career. Raymond would come home in the evenings, and we would have dinner together, watch TV, and just enjoy each other's company. Or so I believed. Things started to change subtly about 6 months ago. Raymond began working later and later. He would tell me about deadlines, urgent projects, and team meetings that ran into the evening. At first, I was understanding. I know how work can be sometimes. I've had my own late nights trying to meet deadlines, and I always appreciated his support during those times. So I reciprocated. I made sure dinner was ready for him when he got home, even if it was late. I kept the house tidy and tried to make his evenings as relaxing as possible after what I imagined were stressful days. But then the late nights became more frequent, almost every night. And it wasn't just late, it was really late. 10 p.m., 11 p.m., sometimes even midnight. I started to feel a little uneasy. I mean, I get busy periods, but every single night, it seemed excessive. I started asking questions. Casual questions at first, like, wow, another late night. What project is keeping you so busy? Or is everything okay at work? You've been working so much lately. His answers were always vague. Just the usual deadlines, he would say. Or, a big project launch coming up. He never gave me specifics, and he started to become a little defensive when I asked. He would say things like, you don't trust me. Or are you questioning my work ethic? Which honestly stung a little. I wasn't questioning his work ethic. I was just concerned, and maybe a little suspicious if I'm being completely honest with you. Reddit. Then there were the weekends. He started saying he needed to go into the office on weekends too to catch up. This was new. Raymond had always been very protective of his weekends. They were our time. We would go hiking, visit friends, try new restaurants, or just relax at home. Weekends were sacred. So when he started spending Saturdays and Sundays at the office, alarm bells really started ringing in my head. I tried to talk to him about it. I sat him down one Saturday morning before he was supposedly heading to work and said, Raymond, we need to talk. He sighed dramatically and rolled his eyes, which was never a good sign. What is it now, Patricia? He asked, sounding already annoyed. It's about your work, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. I'm just a little worried. You've been working so much lately and I miss you. I miss us. He scoffed. Patricia, I'm working hard to provide for us. You should be grateful, not complaining. His tone was sharp, dismissive. It felt like a slap in the face. Grateful? I was grateful, yes, but I also missed my husband. I missed spending time with him. I missed the connection we used to have. It's not about being grateful, Raymond, I replied, trying to keep my emotions in check. It's about our relationship. We're drifting apart. I feel like you're not even here anymore. He stood up abruptly, running a hand through his hair. I don't have time for this drama, Patricia. I have to go to work. And he walked out, leaving me sitting at the kitchen table, feeling hurt and confused. Drama. Was expressing my feelings and concerns drama now. That weekend, I decided to do a little investigating. I know, snooping is bad, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, terribly wrong. When Raymond was supposedly at work, I decided to drive by his office building, just to see if his car was there. I told myself I was just being paranoid, that his car would be there, and I would feel silly for even doubting him. But when I drove past the building, the parking lot was practically empty, and Raymond's car was nowhere to be seen. My heart sank. Where was he? If he wasn't at work, where was he going on a Saturday morning dressed in his work clothes? I felt a knot of dread forming in my stomach. I drove home feeling sick. I spent the rest of the day in a fog of anxiety. When Raymond finally came home late that afternoon, he acted like nothing was wrong. He asked about my day, made small talk, and acted as if he had just spent the entire day slaving away at the office. It was infuriating. I wanted to confront him, to scream at him, to demand the truth, but I held back. I wasn't sure what I wanted to say or how to say it. I needed more information. I needed proof. The following week, the late nights continued. And the weekend work trips. I felt like I was living with a stranger. Raymond was physically present but emotionally absent. He was distant, irritable, and completely checked out of our relationship. I felt so alone, even when he was right there in the same room. One evening, I decided to try a different tactic. Instead of being confrontational, I tried to be more understanding, more supportive. I thought maybe if I showed him more empathy, he would open up to me. When he came home late that night looking tired and stressed, I greeted him with a warm smile and a cup of tea. "Hey, you look exhausted," I said softly, handing him the tea. "Long day?" He took the tea with a grunt. "You have no idea," he muttered, sinking into the couch. "Tell me about it," I said, sitting down next to him. "What's been going on at work?" He hesitated for a moment, then sighed. "It's just a lot of pressure. This new project is really demanding, and my boss is breathing down my neck." "That sounds awful," I said sympathetically. "Is there anything I can do to help? Maybe make you dinner or give you a massage?" I was trying so hard to be supportive, to show him I was on his side. He looked at me, a flicker of something in his eyes. Maybe guilt, or just tiredness. "No, it's okay," he said quietly. "Just being here with you is enough." His words were kind, but they felt hollow. Like he was just saying what he thought I wanted to hear. I tried to ignore the nagging feeling in my gut, the feeling that something was still very wrong. That night, after Raymond had fallen asleep, I made a decision. I know it was a breach of privacy, but I felt like I had no other choice. I picked up his phone. It was sitting on the nightstand, face down. I hesitated for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest. What if I found nothing? Would I feel even more foolish for being so suspicious? But what if I found something? The thought was terrifying, but I couldn't ignore it any longer. I unlocked his phone. He used the same passcode as always, our anniversary date. A small pang of sadness hit me. Things used to be so simple, so easy. Now everything felt complicated and painful. I started by checking his text messages. Nothing unusual at first. Just messages from work colleagues, friends, and family. Then I scrolled further down and saw a name I didn't recognize. Catherine. There were a lot of messages with this name. My stomach clenched. I opened the message thread, and my world shattered. The messages were intimate, flirty, and then increasingly explicit. They started innocently enough with work-related banter. "Hey, did you finish that report?" "Yeah, just sent it over. Thanks for your help." But then they quickly escalated. "You looked really nice in that blue dress today." "Oh, you noticed? How could I not? You always look amazing." I scrolled further and further down, my hands shaking. The messages became more and more graphic. They were talking about meeting up after work. "Drinks tonight? Sounds perfect. Need to unwind after this crazy day. Then my place or yours?" "Yours, definitely yours. Don't want to risk running into your wife." My blood ran cold. His wife, me. They were talking about me, about cheating on me, and they were doing it. They had been doing it for months. The late nights. The weekend work trips. It all made sense now. He wasn't working late, he was with her. Catherine, who the hell was Catherine? I kept reading, my eyes burning with tears. The messages detailed their dates, their secret rendezvous, their lies. They were laughing about how they were fooling me. They were making fun of me. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. How could he do this? How could he betray me like this? After everything we had been through together. After all the love I had given him. I finally found a clue about who Catherine was. In one message, Raymond wrote, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow at the conference. Try to look professional, okay? Conference, work conference." I vaguely remembered Raymond mentioning a work conference a few months ago. It was a big industry event held downtown. He had been gone for 3 days, and he was with her, Catherine. I quickly searched online for the conference schedule, and there it was, a list of speakers and presenters. And among them, Catherine Miller, project manager at the same tech company Raymond worked for. Catherine Miller, his colleague, his coworker, the woman he was cheating on me with. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. The betrayal was so deep, so profound. It wasn't just a physical affair. It was emotional. They were connected. They were sharing secrets, laughing together, building a relationship behind my back. And all this time I had been completely oblivious, a fool. I spent the rest of the night tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep. Raymond slept soundly beside me, completely unaware that I now knew his secret. I watched him sleep, feeling a mixture of anger, hurt, and disgust. How could I have been so blind? How could I have trusted him so completely? The next morning I woke up feeling numb. I went through the motions of getting ready for work, making breakfast, taking Buster for a walk. Raymond woke up, showered, and got dressed for work just like any other day. He kissed me goodbye at the door, a quick, perfunctory kiss that meant nothing. "See you tonight," he said, and walked out. "See you tonight." As if everything was normal. As if he hadn't just shattered my heart into a million pieces. As if he wasn't living a double life right under my nose. I knew I couldn't keep quiet any longer. I had to confront him. But how? What should I say? I spent the entire day replaying the messages in my head, trying to formulate a plan. I decided I would wait for him to come home that evening, and then I would confront him. I would lay out all the evidence, all the messages, and demand the truth. When Raymond came home that evening, he seemed surprised to find me waiting for him in the living room. I usually had dinner ready by then, but tonight the kitchen was dark. I was sitting on the couch, holding his phone in my hand, the message thread with Catherine open on the screen. "Hey," he said casually, hanging up his coat. "What's for dinner?" He didn't even look at me, just headed straight for the kitchen. "We need to talk, Raymond," I said, my voice trembling slightly. He stopped in his tracks and turned around, finally noticing the serious expression on my face. "Talk? About what?" he asked, a hint of nervousness in his voice. I held up his phone. "About this," I said, my voice stronger now, "about Catherine." He paled instantly. His eyes widened and he took a step back as if I had physically struck him. What is that?" he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. "Don't play dumb, Raymond," I said, my anger starting to rise. "This is your phone. And these are your messages. Messages to Catherine, your coworker, your mistress." The word mistress felt bitter on my tongue. It was like something out of a bad movie, not my real life. He didn't say anything for a moment, just stared at the phone in my hand, his face ashen. Then he let out a long, defeated sigh. "Okay," he said quietly. "Okay, you know." "Yes, Raymond, I know," I said, my voice shaking with rage and hurt. "I know about your late nights. I know about your weekend work trips. I know about Catherine. I know everything." He finally looked up at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of shame and regret. "Patricia," he started, but I cut him off. "Don't," I said sharply. "Don't even try to explain. Just tell me the truth. How long has this been going on?" He hesitated for a moment, then mumbled, "About 6 months. 6 months. The exact same time the late nights started. The exact same time he started pulling away from me. 6 months of lies, deception, and betrayal. 6 months of me being completely clueless while he was sneaking around behind my back. 6 months." I repeated, my voice rising. "6 months, Raymond. And you didn't think I deserved to know. You just kept lying to my face day after day." I know I messed up," he said, running a hand through his hair. "I'm so sorry, Patricia, I never meant to hurt you. Never meant to hurt me." I scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "Raymond, you've completely destroyed me. You've betrayed my trust, you've broken my heart, you've ruined our marriage. And you say you never meant to hurt me. I didn't plan for it to happen," he pleaded, his voice desperate. "It just happened. Catherine and I, we just clicked. We have so much in common. We understand each other." "Understand each other?" I stared at him in disbelief. "You understand each other better than you understand your own wife. The woman who has loved you, supported you, stood by you for 7 years. He looked down at the floor, avoiding my gaze. "It's different, Patricia," he mumbled. "With Catherine, it's exciting, passionate. It's something I haven't felt in a long time." "Exciting?" I repeated, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "So our marriage wasn't exciting enough for you? Our life together, our home, our love, it wasn't enough? You needed excitement, so you went and found it with your coworker." He finally looked up at me, tears welling up in his eyes. "Patricia, please just listen to me," he begged. "I know I've made a mistake. A huge mistake, but I can fix it. I can stop seeing Catherine. I can work on our marriage. Please just give me another chance. I promise I'll make it up to you. Another chance." After everything he had done, after all the lies and betrayal, could I ever trust him again? Could I ever look at him the same way? The thought of forgiving him, of trying to rebuild our marriage after this, felt impossible. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. "No, Raymond," I said firmly, my voice surprisingly calm now. "There are no more chances. It's over." His face crumpled. "No, Patricia, please don't say that," he pleaded, taking a step towards me. "We can work through this. We can go to counseling. We can." "No, Raymond," I repeated, holding up my hand to stop him. "It's too late. I'm done." I want a divorce. The word divorce hung in the air, heavy and final. Raymond stared at me, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief. Divorce? He whispered. You want a divorce just like that, after all these years? Yes, Raymond, just like that, I said, my voice unwavering. You made your choice. You chose Catherine. You chose to betray me and our marriage. And now I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing to walk away from this toxic mess and start over. He sank to his knees, burying his face in his hands. Patricia, please don't do this, he sobbed. I love you. I still love you. Please just give me one more chance. I looked down at him, feeling a pang of sadness but also a sense of resolve. I did love him once. But the man I loved was gone. Replaced by someone I no longer recognized, someone who was capable of such deceit and betrayal. I'm sorry, Raymond, I said softly but firmly. It's too late. And with that, I walked out of the living room, leaving him kneeling on the floor, sobbing. I went upstairs, packed a bag with some essentials, and called a taxi. I was leaving. I couldn't stay in that house, in that life, any longer. It was time for me to move on. I spent the next few weeks staying with my best friend, Piper. She was incredibly supportive and helped me navigate the initial shock and heartbreak. I hired a lawyer and started the divorce process. Raymond, predictably, was devastated. He called me constantly, sent me pleading emails and texts, even showed up at Piper's apartment a couple of times, begging me to reconsider. I refused to speak to him. I had said everything I needed to say. There was nothing left to discuss. He had made his choices, and now he had to live with the consequences. The divorce proceedings were relatively straightforward. We didn't have any children, and we agreed to split our assets fairly. Raymond didn't contest anything. He seemed resigned to the fact that he had lost me, and he knew it was his own fault. The hardest part was telling our families and friends. Everyone was shocked and saddened by the news. They couldn't believe Raymond would do something like this. Our families were especially upset. My parents were furious with Raymond, and his parents were heartbroken for both of us. It was a messy, painful situation for everyone involved, but through it all, I remained firm in my decision. I knew I was doing the right thing. Staying with Raymond after what he had done would have been a constant source of pain and resentment. I deserved better. I deserved to be with someone who valued me, respected me, and was faithful to me. The divorce was finalized last month. It was a relief to finally have it over with, to officially close that chapter of my life. It was also sad in a way. 5 years of marriage, 7 years of being together, gone, just like that. It felt like a significant loss, even though I knew it was necessary. I've started to rebuild my life. I moved into a small apartment, closer to downtown. I focused on my work, and surprisingly, my career started to take off. I landed some great new clients, and I'm finally feeling financially independent and secure. I've also reconnected with old friends and made some new ones. I've started taking yoga classes, and I'm even thinking about joining a hiking club. Slowly but surely, I'm finding myself again. The old Patricia, the one who was happy, confident, and full of life. The one who got lost somewhere along the way in my marriage. It's not been easy, of course. There are still days when I feel sad, when I miss the companionship, when I think about what could have been. But those days are becoming fewer and further between. And more often, I find myself feeling hopeful, excited about the future, and grateful for the new opportunities that lie ahead. I haven't spoken to Raymond since the divorce was finalized. I heard through mutual friends that he moved out of our old house and is now living in a small apartment. Apparently, things with Catherine didn't work out as he had imagined. Surprise, surprise. I don't know the details, and honestly, I don't care. I'm focused on my own life now, on my own happiness. Never imagined I would need to post on our relationship advice, but here we are. It's been a wild ride, Reddit, and I appreciate you listening. Update 1. Hey Reddit, Patricia here again. Wow, I'm honestly blown away by the response to my story. I never expected so many people to read it, let alone comment and offer such kind words and support. Thank you all so much. It really means a lot to me during this difficult time. I appreciate all the awards and kind messages on my previous post. It's comforting to know that so many of you understand what I'm going through and are sending positive vibes my way. A few people asked for an update, so here it is. Things have been interesting since I posted my original story. Remember how I mentioned that things with Catherine supposedly didn't work out for Raymond? Well, it seems like that was a massive understatement. A couple of weeks ago, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. It was Catherine. Yes, Catherine, Raymond's ex-mistress, the woman who helped destroy my marriage. My first instinct was to hang up, but she started talking before I could even say anything. She sounded distraught, almost hysterical. She said she needed to talk to me, that she had something important to tell me. I was hesitant, to say the least, but curiosity got the better of me. I agreed to meet her for coffee. I know, crazy, right? Meeting the woman who wrecked my marriage, but I had to know what she wanted. We met at a coffee shop near my new apartment. She looked rough, tired, pale, and definitely not the picture of the exciting and passionate woman Raymond had described. She was fidgety and kept looking around, like she was afraid someone would see her. After some awkward small talk, she finally got to the point. She told me that things with Raymond had gone south very quickly after I left. Apparently, the excitement and passion faded as soon as they didn't have to sneak around anymore. Imagine that. Raymond, it turns out, is not a very pleasant person to be in a relationship with when he's not actively trying to deceive someone. Who would have thought? But here's the real kicker. Catherine told me that she is pregnant with Raymond's baby. I nearly choked on my coffee. Pregnant? Raymond? Baby? It was like something out of a soap opera. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She went on to explain that she had told Raymond about the pregnancy, and his reaction was less than supportive. In fact, she said he completely freaked out. He accused her of trying to trap him, said he wasn't ready to be a father, and basically told her she was on her own. Charming, right? Apparently, Raymond had painted a very different picture of his life to Catherine than the reality. He had led her to believe that he was unhappy in his marriage, that he was just waiting for the right moment to leave me, and that he saw a future with her. Turns out, it was all lies. Shocker. Catherine, understandably, was devastated. She felt used and betrayed by Raymond, just like I did. And now, she was facing a pregnancy alone, with no support from the father. She said she had come to me because she didn't know where else to turn. She knew I had been hurt by Raymond, but she also sensed that I was a decent person, and she was hoping I could offer her some advice, or maybe even some help. I listened to her story, feeling a strange mix of emotions. Pity for Catherine, anger at Raymond, and a weird sense of vindication. I mean, karma is definitely a thing, right, Reddit? He cheated on me, destroyed our marriage, and now he's facing the consequences. And Catherine, well, she made her choices too, and now she's dealing with the fallout. I told Catherine that I couldn't offer her much help, as I was still dealing with my own healing process. But I did offer her some advice. I told her to seek legal counsel, to establish paternity, and to demand financial support from Raymond for the child. I also told her to focus on herself and her baby, and to try to find support from her family and friends. And I wished her the best. Since then, I haven't heard from Catherine again. I don't know what she decided to do, or how things are progressing with Raymond. And honestly, I'm trying not to think about it too much. It's still a lot to process, and I need to focus on moving forward with my own life. But I have to admit, there's a small part of me that feels a sense of satisfaction. Not in a malicious way, but in a way that confirms I made the right decision to leave Raymond. He's clearly not a good person, and he's not capable of being in a healthy, committed relationship. And now he's going to have to face the consequences of his actions, whether he likes it or not. As for me, I'm doing okay. Still healing, still moving forward. I'm focusing on my work, my friends, my hobbies, and my own well-being. I'm starting to feel like myself again, and that's the most important thing. Life is definitely throwing curveballs, but I'm learning to dodge them and maybe even hit a few home runs of my own. So Reddit, that's the update. Life is messy and complicated, but sometimes things work out in unexpected ways. Thanks again for all your support. It really does make a difference. And to anyone else going through something similar, know that you are not alone and things will get better. Just keep moving forward one step at a time. What do you think, Reddit? AITAH for feeling a little bit of satisfaction about Raymond's situation, or am I just being petty? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.